Hey guys, what's going on? It's Friday for the second time in the week here, and like I promised, I will show you one of my Thanksgiving Thursday slate lineups. I'm pretty excited about the Thanksgiving slate. It's always great, 3 games in a row, uh, lots of food, and of course, fantasy football. And I mean, I love it. It's awesome, and it's always more fun and you can really get into the games with more people being around and everything. To start off, we will go with Dak Prescott. Dallas at home won, I think, the 10 of the last Thanksgiving games. I mean, on it's Thanksgiving, most of the as everybody knows, probably Dallas and Detroit always have a Thanksgiving game every year. And if you look at the history, whenever they're um, on the road, they lose. And I mean, it's a low scoring game, but whenever they play at home, it's usually a high scoring game, at least for Dallas. Um, and they win. I mean, they won a couple years in a row at home, and uh, I don't see why that would change this year. They're the favorites by 7 points, I think, and I mean that's a spread, but not too far to really get off the quarterback. And I think that Dak Prescott is the best option here with Andrew Luck out, and the Pittsburgh Indy game probably being not as high scoring as it should have been with Andrew Luck in there. Okay, for running back, we will lock in the top two guys. Um, I can see an argument maybe to play Rob Kelly or Theoretic. I think Frank Gore is a bad idea since Luck is probably out and Pittsburgh can just stuff the defensive line, and Frank Gore will have a hard time to really run. They will play a slow game, and I don't think it's good for the running back. Rob Kelly going up against Dallas, they will probably trail a lot. So I think he won't see as many touches as he is used to, or as he used to the last 3 weeks. Uh, Dallas will take a lot of time off the board, and it will be an intense game, but I think Washington will have to throw a lot. And I mean, those two are just the best plays overall with every player on the board. Great matchups for both. Both are the favorites. Um, great spots for those two. I lock them in every lineup. For wide receiver, first wide receiver will be a stack. It's Cole Beasley. I think 1 or 2 years ago he actually had a game out of nowhere on Thanksgiving slate with 2 touchdowns, and no one saw it coming, and no one actually had him at all really, and he just won all the money for those who were brave enough to take him. I don't expect the low ownership this year, but um, he has the best matchup. I mean, Washington has two really great cornerbacks on the outside and a not so great cornerback um, on the inside. If you look at Stephon Diggs, what he did to Washington from the slate, I mean, that's just outrageous numbers. 32 points. I don't expect 32 points out of Cole Beasley, but he will have a better game than all the other receivers, and I think at least 15 points this week. The next wide receiver will be Mr. Jameson Crowder. Uh, he lines up at the same spot as Beasley, and that's where Dallas has their worst cornerback as well. He saw a lot of targets prior to last week, and last week he actually saw a lot of deep targets. So he used his athletic ability, and it looked pretty impressive. I mean, he caught three balls for 100 yards. It's just ridiculous. And I think they will go to him more often this week, not on those super deep routes, but um, I expect good numbers out of him and a lot of receptions in this game where they will trail. In a 3 game slate or 4 game slate, so whenever there's not many games on in a slate, you really have to stack so that you predict something will happen, and if that happens, your lineup will kill it. I mean, what I'm predicting right now is that Dallas will take the lead early and kill Washington in the first 2 quarters, then run it out with Ezekiel Elliott, and Washington will have to throw from behind. And I mean, I think they will come back close, so Dak Prescott has to step in again, and that's what I hope is gonna happen. So if that happens, Jameson Crowder will be one of the receivers that Washington will have to go to. Okay, the other guy will be the next receiver in Washington. That's Deshaun Jackson, deep threat. Um, he got wide open on some looks last week, and he's just so quick and mobile. I mean, I love seeing him play. I think he's a great play on Thanksgiving because he's one of those guys. If he sees special attention, he goes off, and I expect huge numbers out of him this week. Same as Crowder. If Dallas will take the lead, they will have to. Yeah, they will have to score and pass a lot, and those 2 guys are the ones to go to then. Tight end is gonna be Jason Witten. As I said, Washington has those great cornerbacks on the outside. So whenever Prescott goes into motion, um, no, not Prescott going. I mean Ezekiel Elliott going into motion. Everybody shifts with Ezekiel Elliott, and that often leaves Jason Witten on a one-on-one matchup against a way less physical guy. And if they do play action, for example, with Ezekiel Elliott, Prescott goes to Witten most of the times, and he finds himself again against a way less physical guy who can't really bring him down, so he will pick up some yards on those. And I think at this point, with Washington being a really bad run defense, they will fall for every play action that Prescott runs and go with Ezekiel Elliott, and that leaves a lot of space for Jason Witten on those. And I mean, with those three guys, Elliott, Beasley, and Witten, I count for all the touchdowns in on the Dallas side, and I hope those 2 guys will count all the touchdowns on the Washington side, and that's what we are hoping for. On the flex, we have a guy from a different game, so it's only the second guy from a different game. We will stack this game till the end. I mean, I expect Pittsburgh and Indy to be a pretty low-scoring game, and also Minnesota at Detroit. You could make a case for Detroit, like Dallas. They always win at home as well on Thanksgiving, but I will do that in another lineup. And I mean, you will have to choose one game to go with, and that's the Dallas Washington game. And I think Ebron is a good play no matter what happens in that game. He saw a great game against Minnesota 3 weeks ago. 8 targets, 7 receptions for 92 yards, and he was used a lot last week in the red zone. So I hope he will see some of those targets in the red zone again and score some yards. Okay, and the last pick is going to be the Steelers defense. If we would go with the Cowboys, we would have 5 Cowboys players, and you can make a case for going with the Cowboys because the Redskins will have to throw the whole time, and that leaves space for interceptions. But the Steelers being in such a great spot, I think it's wiser to go with the Steelers, just because you can't really afford a Cowboys defense touchdown. It will take too many points away from your guys, and you have to hope that the Cowboys defense doesn't score a touchdown at all, and that's nothing you want if you pick a defense. So the Steelers going up against a second string quarterback, I mean they have a great matchup. Also you kind of stack it with the running back, and I think that's a great pick there. Okay, so that is my preferred um, lineup for Thanksgiving. It's really hard to go kind of against everybody else. I mean, there will probably be some more guys with this lineup just because it is a great lineup if you want to start Dak Prescott. If you want to go really contrarian, in my opinion, the best play will be Ladarius Green, uh, switched out for Jason Witten or Ebron. I don't know which one you prefer. Or the other guy would be Bolden, or where is he? Hayward Bay. If Hayward Bay is gonna be good to go, no one at all will be on him. No one at all will be on him. And I think just if he has one of those games, 12, 12, 10, that won't be enough. But if he out of a sudden scores a touchdown um, and gets some more receptions and gets like 15 points, that's perfect value for 3,000, and that's the guy you will need in those lineups. But since I don't really believe in Hayward Bay, and I don't think the Pittsburgh Steelers will score a lot of points, I think that's the best lineup to go with this slate. But make sure you will use other lineups where you stack other games. So I will enter about 5 lineups into the 5 entry max tournaments, and I will stack the Washington Dallas game 3 times, 1 time Pittsburgh, and 1 time the Detroit Lions game. So make sure you spread that out and stack the games, and really make sure to always have a little contrarian plays in there. Okay, that was it. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you later this week with another video for the Sunday games.